Welcome to my channel and welcome to a relaxing banana bread bake with me. Here are the ingredients that you'll need to make this banana bread, and I'll give you a screenshot of the banana bread recipe and print it off. This is from Mandy in the Making. If you've been to Mandy's channel, you'll know she's an excellent cook. She is what's for dinner goals. I can't tell you the good recipes I've got from Mandy. I'll link her channel below for you so you can give her a visit. But you, of course, are going to need a cup and a half of flour. I was so tickled to get me some self-rising flour. I ordered flour a number of times the last year, and all I could get was all-purpose. So I'm tickled to have the self-rising flour, and then you don't have to add any of the salt and baking powder. So a cup and a half of flour. You'll need a cup of sugar, 3 good ripe bananas. You'll need 1/4 of a cup of melted butter and 1 egg. Now you see I've got more than that out. I'm going to double this today. And then this is not in Mandy's original recipe, but these are just some things I add. I put a little smidge of vanilla in mine, and then I sprinkle the top with some ground cinnamon before I put it in the oven to bake. The first thing you have to do for banana bread is to get your bananas mushed up. These are nice and ripe, so you can see they're just pulling right out of this skin easy. A lot of times I'll, slice them up a little bit before I start mushing them. These look pretty good. And you'll want to have your oven preheating to 325 degrees. And like I said, I'm doubling this recipe today. Let's see here. Let's cut them up just a little bit in here. Just make it a little bit easier. Then you're just going to go to mushing your bananas up. And there, my oven's ready. It's kind of a dreary day here today. Looks like it's rained some overnight. And it's April, and there's a chance we might have some snow. They're talking about a little bit of snow and some frost advisories and things like that for today. But I thought it would be a good day to make some banana bread. I've been wanting to make some for a little bit. And it's okay if these ain't mashed up completely. I actually like a little bit of chunkiness to mine. But as you add in the other wet ingredients, it does help you to be able to mash it up a little bit better. So we'll start with it looking about like that. Now, into your mashed up bananas, you're going to add your sugar, and it calls for 1 cup of sugar, but I told you already, I'm doubling this, and this is a 1/2 cup measure. So there's 1 cup. And here finishes up 2. And then put in 1/4 cup melted butter. Of course, I've got a whole stick in here because I am doubling this. Then I'm doing 2 eggs. And now you're just going to mix all that in really well. Let me get you over here so you can get a look down in there and see how this comes together. let me know if you like the way I shoot these videos. My husband told me I was too close to the food, but my mama said she liked it, that I got right down in the food and you could see what was happening. So let me know what your preference is. If you saw my last video, I give you some tips and tricks on, what to cook when you don't want to cook or you don't know what to cook. And one of the things that I said was to cook once and eat twice. And this is a good example of this. I like to keep bananas on hand. Just number one, we like to eat them. And they're not what I'd call, a long-lasting produce item. That was another tip I gave you, was to, keep some produce on hand that's going to last a while. And bananas are really not one of those things. But whatever you don't eat up, you can always cut it up and put it in the freezer and use it for smoothies. Or you can always make banana bread, and that's what I like to do. And you can see after I added that butter and that sugar and those eggs in, I just used my fork to stir it up. And I've still got some big chunks in here, so I'll kind of go through, and the real big ones, I'll mush them up a little bit. But like I said, I want to leave some chunks in mine. I like the way the little chunks taste when you're eating that banana bread. So that looks about right to me. I almost forgot this little bit of vanilla I told you I like to pour in. So I just throw a little splash of that in. And now let's get that stirred in just a little bit. And we're going to add our flour. And I'm going to do, I've got a half of a cup, a measuring cup here. And I'm going to need a total of 3 cups of flour. You'll just need a cup and a half if you're just doing one loaf. But I'm going to need 3. This is a brand new bag. I hadn't even got it in my little flour container yet, so I'm going to use a smaller measuring cup. So there's half. And 1. And I just think it's easier when you're measuring out sugar and flour and cornmeal. I believe that's 2 cups. I think it's just easier to use a smaller measuring cup or to scoop it out of there with. You can pour it into a big one if you want to. Do whatever you like, but that's just how I like to do it. So now we're going to add this flour in and mix this up good. I hope you'll give this banana bread a try. I never thought I would be the kind of person, and I still can't make good homemade bread. I'm still on the search to find me a recipe that I can make. But I never thought I would be the kind of person that would be making anything from scratch. That's just not ever who I thought I'd be, and I still take a lot of shortcuts, but I do enjoy these little recipes like this, and it tastes so good. This is just a nice little thing you can be proud of. You could set this out at breakfast, Christmas, holidays, just when you're got a little something to go to. This is just a nice little thing. It's easy to make, but it's very pretty when it bakes up, and it just tastes so good. Makes you feel good to know you can get in here and just pull out these items and put something together. Alright, that just looks about perfect. I don't see any flour there in the bottom that I've missed. It looks like everything is mixed up really well. So I've got two just regular little loaf pans here, and I'm going to use my favorite good old Baker's Joy. It's got the non-stick spray and it's got flour in it, so your stuff will not stick. And I'm going to do this over the sink real quick. There's one. You can see that flour in it. And there's two. And you're just going to do your best to, this is a heavy batter too, you're going to do your best to try and divide this out evenly between these two loaf pans. Now, if I really wanted to be perfect here, I could have mixed this up in two batches. But this is fine. I can eyeball it, I believe. Alright, leave a little bit in there. Let's spread these out and see what I got. That looks pretty even. So we'll just take this last little bit of batter and get it in there. And I think I told you you preheat it to 325, and this bread's going to bake an hour. And boy, it will be smelling good. Put some more in that one. They're just wonderful. And I'm a little messy sometimes, so I just take a little paper towel and I'll get out anything that's got up here around the edges like this batter. And there you go, you got two loaves. And then don't forget, of course you don't have to do this, but I think this makes it good. I take a little bit of cinnamon and I'll just sprinkle it right over the top. I try to do it lightly as I can. Gives it a real pretty color, real rich taste. I like it. Now let's put these in the oven here. There goes number one. And there goes number two. And see them in about an hour. In the meantime, I think I'll clean up this mess. Here's Mandy's banana bread recipe. I just topped it out and it's been used a lot. Forgive, it's got some junk on it. But here it is if you want to take a screenshot of it. Topped it out good and large. And here on the I'm just going to turn these out now on this cutting board. They've been sitting there a little while in their pans. Put them out there to cool. You see they just pop right out with that Baker's Joy. It's always good to have a little bite of it when it's nice and warm. It's good good just by itself. You could put a little butter on it. I've got these different preserves and pumpkin butters and things back here that would be good on it. Those are some that my dad made, but I hadn't opened them yet because we've still got some in the refrigerator. Have to have my dad on here one day and let him show you all the good little things he's got. He makes good cornbread. He makes a lot of good stuff. He likes to make these preserves and different apple butters and things. But you know the thing about men and cooking, they do a lot of things good, and I'm all for that. But you know, my dad, he don't have to worry about the other 3 meals of the day that's got to be cooked and cleaned up and all that. So, you know, kudos to my mom for all the other meals. Let's not forget that. Raise your hands in the comments if you understand what I'm talking about. And this just cuts beautifully. Give you a good look. Get it to focus in really good on that. You can see some of those bigger chunks of bananas in there. I hope you have enjoyed this little recipe. I hope you like this. I've tried to do more of a step-by-step and not have to voice over it so much. Now you can see I've taste tested it now, and it is delicious. And it's wonderful to eat warm. This loaf right here, I'm going to let it cool just a minute longer and wrap it up. I'm going to take it to some neighbors of ours. You could wrap this up and freeze it. I've done that before. Pull it out a month or two later, thaw it out, warm it up, and eat it. It's good that way. Sometimes I'll just bake an extra loaf, just to do that with. But I am taking this to some neighbors today. And, cooking is a good way. If somebody's having a hard time, we don't always know what to do or what to say. But a lot of times, just something from your heart will let people know you're thinking about them. Hope you enjoyed this quick little recipe. Give me a thumbs up if you like it. Leave me a comment and let me know some of your favorite breads to make. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.